Well, welcome to the podcast today. I think it's going to be an interesting podcast today, and you'll find out here in just a second. Before we say all that, I just want to let you know that our podcast today is brought to you by Level Up Web Solutions. That's levelup-websolutions.com, and they'll build you a quality website. I know you'll enjoy it. You'll like it. And that's levelup-websolutions.com. So, and let me put this out there to you also. If you have a story, if you have a testimony, something God's did in your life, something God's doing in your life, maybe He saved your marriage, or maybe you overcome an addiction, whatever the case be, we'd love to have you on the program. Now, you can be on the program by contacting us at River Rat Reverend.com. That's our webpage. And scroll down to the bottom comment section and let us know that you'd like to be on the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll get in contact with you, and we'd love to have you on the show. So we definitely want to have some good, interesting content here. So this morning, I have a special guest. A very special guest. It's my sister Myrna. All right. Calm down.
Yeah, everybody calm down now.
So Myrna, you and I
we go way back.
We go back a long ways, don't we?
Yeah.
Kind of worked out that way when we was born.
Yeah, somebody.
So, did Mom ever finally tell you though that you were adopted? Did she tell you that or not?
Well, did Mom ever tell you that Alice May was your real mother?
It'll be an interesting day here today, folks.
She said she found us on a stump, but I think that there's a little more to that story.
You know, and I remember, I think Mom, didn't she used to say when we were born, we'd say, Mom, where did I come from? And she would say something like, well, I found you under a rock and brought you home and hatched you. You know.
Oh, I remember a buzzard laid us on a stump.
Yeah.
It was a buzzard.
That might be more like it. We've had a lot of good times over the years, and I remember there was a time. I want to bring all this out. There was a time when I didn't like you. When we were kids,
I made it hard.
We fought all the time, and the sad thing of it is, Myrna was Mom's favorite.
Mm.
I took a lot of beatings, and while we have you on the air here, Myrna, I just wanted to say I forgive you. I'm letting it go. All right.
All the times you were mean to me, if Gracie spanked you or anybody else, I was on the attack.
And Gracie did.
Brenda would beat you up and tear your shirts up. Brenda took care of you.
Brenda brutalized me.
I took care of you.
Brenda would beat the stuffings out of me. We used to laugh about later on in life, of course not at the time, but we laugh about how many of my shirts that she ripped trying to catch me. I was in flight trying to escape, and she'd grab a hold of my shirt to rip. And so Brenda, she was kind of like Attila the Hun.
Brenda was not to be taken lightly.
Yeah, and what's nice though, we can't. No, actually, it's not nice. But she can't back herself up right now,
right.
On that. But yeah.
Well, let me say something good about Brenda.
Losing Brenda was a tremendous
Brenda
loss.
Was the author of my decency.
Yeah.
Any decency I had, she authored it. And that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I set all my standards of right and wrong by what she told me. And that's the truth. I promise everybody she did.
Yeah.
You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't go out and mess around with boys, you don't do this, you don't do that, and I didn't do any of that. Growing up, I didn't until I met Charlie.
You learned not to drink, not to chew,
I had standards.
Not to hang out with those that do.
I had standards, and then I owe it all to her.
That's awesome. I'll never forget the one day me and Mike, our nephew Mike.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Myrna gets on the phone and she's constantly calling me Mike. I don't know what the thing is. Starting to give me a complex, but I remember one time me and Mike was setting out when we lived between the flats and the crosses there in Shelby.
Nice place, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we had a sandy area out there where we park cars or stuff a lot of times. But me and Mike, we'd get out there and we'd play and we'd get our army men and we'd do different things. And I'll never forget one day, it was a Sunday. Me and Mike's out there playing. We were playing in the sand and building little house things out of the dirt and playing with our stuff, you know. Brenda comes home.
Uh-oh.
She had gone to church. And she looks at me and Mike. We're innocently out there playing, doing no harm to anyone. And she says, did you know, these are Brenda's words. She goes, did you know that if you do not repent, you will burn in hell forever? Mike and I didn't know what repent meant, but we thought if this is going to spare us hell, we're down on these things. I repent, you know. Hey, we didn't want to burn. We're like, what were we doing? We were just out here playing. We didn't do nothing to anybody. That shook us to our core.
Sounds like our coffee clutches with Joanne. You come home, we're going to die. The world's coming to an end.
I tell you what, now, Joanne, of course, she was an encourager.
But I learned everything I know about God from her.
Yeah. And, you know, I remember, speaking of Joanne, I remember when I would be going through some hard times, especially I remember in my late teens and things like that. I went through a time, you weren't aware of this.
I went through some times too.
Well, I went through a time where I literally thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was going to lose my mind and have a massive breakdown. I was going to be in oblivion. But I remember I would walk all the way from Shelby over to Roselawn. I'd walk the railroad tracks, and I would go see Joanne.
And to talk to her was worth every step.
Absolutely. You know, and I still see Joanne sitting there with her arms folded like this, you know, like that. And she'd be smoking her cigarettes, and she'd get us some coffee, and we'd sit there drinking our coffee, and Joanne would have you talked out of the hole in no time. By the time you left, Joanne...
We're in the hole. Because she would teach me so much about end times that I'm going home with such a stiff neck and headache.
That was another time. But, I mean, she could talk you out of the hole and get you laughing.
She was awesome.
You know, Joanne always had an open sign above her door. Yeah. No, it wasn't a visible sign. It wasn't something, you know, printed or a neon light. But everybody knew that the door was open. If you needed to talk, you could come in and talk to her, you know.
She always wanted to witness about God. She gave up church at that time because
she'd been hurt.
She was hurt really bad by something. She never did articulate on that, but she was. But she never stopped witnessing ever to anyone who'd listen.
Yeah. But she had a way of encouraging you and getting you to see how wrong your thoughts were and how, you know, you felt the love of God there. She had you laughing and having coffee. And, you know, that's the one thing of the Garrison family.
Survived on coffee.
We were coffee clutchers. Another memory. This is a bitter memory with me. We grew up drinking instant coffee. Uh-oh. And then one day I got, of course, turned on to percolated coffee. I never went back, but we would drink instant coffee, and we had an old coffee pot thing that would whistle when it would steam. And you go in the kitchen, and I always wished we had rubber spoons because you'd be in there stirring your coffee. I put sugar and cream in it back in those days. And the minute somebody in that front room, you, Mom, or Brenda, would hear a clink, make me a cup, oh, you know. And most of the time I would, you know.
Yeah.
I regret, you know, I begrudged it, but all right, you know.
Have you gotten over that? Have you gotten therapy for that?
I'm working on that, and I'm making progress. I would give anything to go back and do that again, though.
I'd give anything to go back to that old house. Just a couple of times and just sit there and think.
Hear Mom playing Yahtzee at the table, or sit there by herself playing Yahtzee or putting a puzzle together, aggravation.
Bob, I got to mention this if it won't interfere with your story.
No, because I'm going nowhere anyway.
Misty and I, before the house was tore down, wanted to go.
I know what you're going to tell me.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell it. We went because we missed home. We missed Grandma. We missed Mom.
Yeah.
And the things that we did with her. And one of the things, we went to the door and said, well, all they can do is say no. We went to the door and those people were so welcoming. And when we got to the door, though, actually, we heard dice rolling on a wooden table.
A familiar sound.
Yeah, we heard the dice rolling, and she answered the door and invited us in. And they had an old-fashioned cutout aggravation board, like the one we used to play on.
Yeah.
And Misty and I's mouths dropped. And over in the corner, they still had Mom's copper-toned stove.
Oh, that old...
that stove was still there.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, and Mom's old gas stove was there, too, the heating stove.
The old fuel.
I mean, it was like walking into home. Misty and I were flabbergasted.
Probably turn around. I'm sorry, this is too overwhelming.
Oh, it was a God-given gift. It really was, because we all really, really missed that, and we'd love to go back to it now, but it's gone. But Misty and I got to experience that, and we told the lady about the that Mom had all of that, and then when they got their new home, they of course had to take that down. But I wish so much we could have brought that somewhere and kept it.
You know, recently I've had a few dreams about Dave Duval. You know, and Dave and I had kind of been distant for many years, and we kind of went our own ways. And I'll never forget when I was a kid, and I hope you all don't mind us sharing these memories.
Oh, boy, it's hard not to.
Yeah. Dave I borrowed one of Dave's G.I. Joes, and I took it home, and in my realistic play, I set him on fire. You know, I burned him. And so,
pyro.
So it was about, it was February of 2023, I remember it. I went over to visit Booney, who was struggling with his last days of cancer. And Booney is a great friend of mine, too. And
it's like having a brother die, wasn't it?
It was, Dave and Booney both, you know. And so I told Booney, I said, you know what, Booney, I bought a G.I. Joe off eBay.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, because Dave lived down the street from where I lived for many years there in
Birch on that corner where I live.
Birch, yeah. And so I took that G.I. Joe to his house, and I left it. I knocked on the door, and he didn't, no answer. And so I thought, well, I'll leave it. So later on, I got a hold of his number, and I called him and said, did you get that present I left for you, Dave? He said, did you leave that G.I. Joe? I said, yeah, you know. And he cherished that. He thought that was so cool. I said, well, I owed you a G.I. Joe because I burnt yours up.
Finally confessed.
So
he came clean.
I came clean, you know. It felt so purified.
It was a Dateline experience.
Yes, yes. And it was funny because Dave thought that was so cool. And do you know that every day after that, he would call me 1, 2, 3 times a day?
Yeah.
And for a full year there, basically.
He needed you, Bob.
Huh?
He needed you.
Yeah. And, you know, for a full year, we would talk every day. And, man, when we lost him, that ripped my heart out, because I was like, these are two fellows in my life, you know, and of course losing Rhonda and stuff, and
you know all the people from Shelby that we lost. It's just if you think of all of them, name them off, it's just like
too many.
It's too much.
But you know, now everyone that I've lost, I've written a poem about, you know. And I remember one time you telling me, you said, well, why don't you write me one while I'm alive, you know?
Yeah.
So I did. What'd you do with it? You said,
you're going to have to write me another
I'll get you another copy.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good
poem. I want a nice one about how great I am, you know.
Yeah. Get it out there, you know, because a lot of people don't know.
They don't know that.
No. You know, here's the thing that I thought was something.
My family sure as heck ain't going to tell them.
Mom had 9 of us. And then we had...
Save the best for last.
Yeah. Hey, that's right. And I was the last one, so...
Oh, man. I walked into that.
Made it there. But then we had Larry, Artie, and Wayne on Dad's side.
Also Phil and Ronnie.
Phil and Ronnie, you know...
They weren't our siblings, but they count.
Yeah, they count. And where was I going? Oh, so Mom had 9 of us. None of Mom's kids ever made it out of their 60s.
No.
And, you know, Brenda was 39, Sonny 53, and Alice
Joanne was 48.
Joanne was 48.
Alice May just She was a month away from being 61.
Okay, yeah. And then of course Bertie passed in, I believe it was in October
of 202.
202, 1 year later, and then Imogene died
December, the same year as I'm.
So Myrna has all the dates.
I have date memory, but I don't have other memories. But you ask me of somebody's birthday, I'll probably remember.
So the big thing with you and I was, are we going to make it out of our 60s? That was a big concern.
That was a goal.
And I remember when you turned 70, which was, you're about a year and a half older than I am.
I think we're like 16 months. We should do the math, Bobby.
Yeah.
I was born December of 54, and he was born April of 56.
Yeah. About a year and a half, roughly. Yeah. But I remember I said, now, if anything, if you cross that line and you make it out of the 60s, we're going to celebrate. So I remember.
Did we?
Huh?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Can you believe this?
I'm so ashamed.
This is why we try and tape these things ahead of time so that we can.
That's why I remember dates and you remember facts.
Yeah. So I remember I came up to your house and I bought some of that sparkling grape juice, and I brought a couple of little wine goblet things and said, we're going to celebrate this,
Yeah.
And by the time we finished that bottle, she was snockered. I tell you. But it was fun. Well, so then about a year and a half later, I'm getting close to that time. I'm thinking, well, I seriously had to wondering in my mind, will I make it out of my 60s? Myrna did. She's the only one so far. And
I just got lucky. I was a month older than Sherry. 3 months older than Sherry, because she turned 70 before you, too.
Yeah, and Sandy was a month before me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But finally made it out by 70s,
60s.
Yeah, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah,
you're not dead yet, Bob. I just thought I'd let you know.
As far as I know, anyway. Either I died or they woke up the wrong one this morning. I don't know. But anyway, I made it over the line there, And here's the thing, and this is a new philosophy and mentality that I've developed. 70 years old, I haven't begun to live yet.
It don't feel as old as it used to, does it?
No, there was a time I thought 70 was old.
I thought it was.
I still do, but
dirt. I thought it was dirt, but I'm fighting it tooth and nail.
Yeah, but and the one thing I've wanted to do with people our age or older is like, don't step back into the shadows. And I talked here, I think it was the last podcast where I talked and I said, you know what? They talk about passing your torch on to a new generation. I said, and
I still need my torch.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, you know what? You can have my torch when you pry it out of my dead, cold, clammy hands. Yeah, and you can have my torch. But I said, but in the meantime, if you got your own torch, I'll be happy to give you a light.
There you go.
Yeah, you should have seen the segment last week, which you probably did watch. Most don't. But we, Bobby had a picture of me where I was holding it in a medieval outfit. I'm holding a torch. And then I said something about giving you light. Then he showed one where the guy's holding a torch out like this.
Oh, that's cool. I got to go look that up.
He's pretty good with the graphics thing. But, I look at it this way, and I think at our age and the others that are our age, I think I'm just beginning to live. I ain't ready to step into the shadows.
I don't feel any older than I did when I turned 50.
Yeah.
I just don't. My bones aren't even screaming that loud.
Well, mine do occasionally, but...
Well, my knuckles would argue otherwise. I have occasion where they hurt more, but they used to say you're as old as you feel, and I totally agree with that now.
Well, you know what I tell people? I say,
seriously,
I'm 70 years old. I can still do the same things at 70 that I did when I was 25. I just didn't do much then either. So,
I realize that when my youngest grandson turns 20, I'll be dead.
Well, maybe not. Hey, Wayne's 88.
Yeah, but I'll be in my 90s when Charlie turns 20.
Yeah.
Because I'll be 72 in December.
As a matter of fact, I want to shift to that because that was one of the things I want to talk about. I've noticed a bunch of stuff on Facebook, or you and Michael, and they got this little guy there smiling. I sense pride there.
Pride?
Yeah, I sense there's some pride there.
Oh, mercy. You could eat that child, I'm telling you.
So tell us what he's like. I've actually not got to meet him
He
yet.
has got such a personality. And the thing is, when you take Charlie into a room, he looks around, and because he's looking and figuring and thinking things out, he's got a cat face. No expression whatsoever, just blank.
Got that stalking look.
No, he's just got a blank stare going on, but and Michael will say, well, he's just taking things in, and he is. But when he sees Grandma or Papa walk into the room, that kid lights up. When you say give Grandma kisses, he grabs a hold of your hair and your glasses and...
He's a cute little guy.
7 months yesterday.
So he's a cute little guy. That's why I question: is this Mike stuff?
We got to think about that.
I'm kidding, Michael. I'm kidding. Yeah, he's a cute little guy. I can't wait to meet him. He has
got a personality. He's so smart, Bob. He really is. I don't know, but he can't. And Michael laughed and said, "We'll have to give Tiffany a DNA test to see if he's hers too, because he's too smart for all of us."
He's a cute little guy. I can't wait to meet him.
I can't believe you haven't. Oh, he's so heavy, Bob. I had to buy one of those hip things so he could sit on my hip because I don't have one anymore. And you try to pick him up, and he slides through your arms like a sack of rice. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to drop him. I'm going to lose him. I'm going to lose him. And I have to drop him on something because, Tiffany's children look tiny and adorable, but pick them up and you'll face plant every time. Sorry, Tiff, I didn't mean to say that, but they're Val was built the same way.
So she don't
Valerie was a teeny tiny little thing, but pick her up was like she was lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I carried my weight the same way.
Story about Valerie when she was about 2 or 3, somewhere along in there. And she got into a medicine cabinet. I think she got a hold of some pills, we thought. So you had to take her to the hospital to get... I didn't.
You and Gracie took her off to the hospital like emergencies. I wasn't home yet.
I didn't think of it.
You and Gracie.
Well, I do remember, okay, maybe that part's a little faded, but I do remember little Valerie, we're getting ready to take her. So I must have... Anyway, and she goes, we going Burger King? I says, no, Val, this is not going to be Burger King. Poor little thing. She didn't know what awaited her, did it?
We're going bye-bye.
Yeah. I tell you. Now, we grew up in Shelby, Thayer, Roselawn,
Oh, we grew up everywhere.
Shelby,
mostly Shelby and Roselawn.
Mostly Shelby and then a little bit of Roselawn, Thayer. What's your take on those little towns?
Wow. No, that's a big heart open.
Yeah.
I knew Sharon Miller from Roselawn from the time we were in first grade.
Yeah.
And we remained lifelong friends our whole life. And different ones like that, and the memories you pick up along the way. But my biggest...
Mike? She called me Mike again.
No, it was my busted lip. My most poignant memories are Shelby.
So, were you baptized in the Kankakee River?
I've been baptized in the Kankakee River, in 2 swimming pools. No, I've been baptized about 2 or 3 times, yeah. But I was, yeah. Yes, I was. I remember that.
I remember baptizing your kids in the pool out.
Yeah, me and you did it.
Yeah.
Me and you together dipped him.
I thought that was pretty
Tried to get Zip to do it, but he wouldn't. He said he was an ordained minister, and I said, you baptize my grandkids? So I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. But it was a pleasure putting them under. I just hated it when they struggled, just hold up,
Yeah.
Wait till the last bubble. No, we had
You baptized my girlfriend, Kathy.
We got a lot of memories going back to Shelby, Thayer, and Roselawn. Love those towns to this day now. I'm down here in Kentland now and everything, but and this is a great little town. But a lot of great memories up there. The annual homecoming, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You in 1971, you was the homecoming queen.
And I owe that to my dad.
Mm-hmm. He sold a lot of tickets for you.
Oh, boy, did he help me. I'd have never got that by myself.
Yeah. That was cool. And I got that picture. That'd be great to add.
Should have put that on there.
Yeah, probably will. That was
Olden days picture.
That was your big 15 minutes of fame there.
Oh yeah, and then my daughter won Princess the following year.
In fact, I was going. Was it the following year? I thought it was 76.
I got married in 71. No, yeah. It was 76 because it was the centennial. Yeah. And Chrissy had to be old enough. She
was 4 years old.
She was born in 72. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm.
So there are some things.
So there's royalty in my family.
Yeah, there you go. I thought it was cool. We have, you go back, we used to have the annual homecoming, and then...
We looked forward to that, didn't we?
Yeah, and then on a Sunday, they had the parade go through town, throwing out candy and stuff.
And there I was on the parade going...
Yeah, good.
Like a dork.
How you peasants out there doing,
Oh, they all thought I was crap.
Now, Russ, our brother-in-law, Russ Lee, he won an award for having the bushiest beard. They had a beard contest that year. That. Yeah. In fact, I think I've got a picture of that. I've got an old newspaper clipping of that or whatever. But that centennial year, Chrissy was... You should mention that Gloria Cooper won first runner-up. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. Yeah. Gloria Cooper was first runner-up when I won. Yeah, now Brenda had a few years before you. She was first runner-up in the Queen contest. I believe so, and she did that all by herself with the help of us. But yeah, and then our niece Diane was first runner-up. Wasn't Charlotte Flatt the first queen? 1952. Charlotte Flatt won. Yep, Charlotte Flatt, and she was a pretty lady. We just called her Charlotte Flatt. Edit that. Yeah, Charlotte Flatt was the first homecoming queen. In English, she was the first homecoming queen. I think in 1952, I believe. Do you remember Patsy Paste's little girls dancing? Patsy used to dance, and she would have the little girls up there on a platform dancing. You might not remember that, pretty young. But Sue Steele, her mother, had a picture of her, and her daughter still got that picture of Sue in her little tap dancing outfit. It was amazing. I would like to see that. That would be cool. Susie passed away. Yeah, Missy's got it. Susie passed away, been about a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, 3? Something? I got all the dates in here. Yeah. Sharon Miller passed away in 21, I think. This is a sad thing. My best friend in Shelby, Barb McKinney, she was Barb Fredericks. Yeah. She passed away on my 50th wedding anniversary. The kids were having a birthday party for me. Birthday party / 50th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And she died that day. And something you don't forget. That's a bummer. We've got a lot of connections, and I remember going to the little barn church years ago, Pastor Russell Denham and that thing, and we had some good memories there. And I will say one thing, Pastor Russell and Dorcas treated, I felt like gold, they used to come out with that old 56 Chevy school bus, two-tone blue, pick us up on a Sunday and stuff. I think Marvin Van Hout used to drive. We took that to Iowa, didn't we? What's that? No, we didn't. We drove cars to Iowa. Did you? Now, that was something I was going to ask you about, too. That was a meaningful time for you. Big time. So, met the Holy Spirit. What happened? I was out of place, square peg in a round hole, had been most of my life. But back then, I was a mama's girl. I hadn't been too far away from Mom, other than staying with Bertie the times we did. Mm-hmm. But I was home. I was there. I didn't know where I was. Homesick. Brenda wouldn't have anything to do with me. I was terrified when I went to this camp. I went to this campfire meeting, and they were singing and praising, and I was singing and praising around that campfire, and I was touched by the Holy Spirit in a big way. And when I walked back to my room, that's where the song "In the Garden" means so much to me, because the last verse says, "I'd stay in the garden with him, though the night around me be falling, but he bids me go through the voice of woe." Yeah. And so forth. And I felt like I could have walked out of that campground in pitch blackness, rejoicing in the Lord with absolute peace. Yeah.
It wasn't just I accept Christ. It was an experience.
It was up there by Des Moines, Iowa. Dolliver State Park.
Dover, I think. Dover.
Dover. Yeah. And so,
and after that, I wasn't afraid anymore.
Yeah.
Until Rodney did what he did, but we've forgiven each other.
Yeah. A lot of connections to the old church and things. Back in the day. And I still have out in my garage, I have the original pulpit that Brother Denham built in the old barn church back in probably about 63, somewhere along there. And I still have that. And sometimes Trish said, you got to get rid of some of these things. Why do you need that? I couldn't let that go. I couldn't. I'd have to find a place for it. A lot of good memories. Now, growing up, me and Miriam used to sing together. Yeah. All the time. It was a big deal for her and I to sing together. Yeah. It was a big deal for me to sing with them too, but I don't think they like my voice. You weren't appreciating? I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But, excuse me, you and I, we grew up poor. To put it mildly. There's a couple things that, that stand out. Now, I remember half our life, we had an outside bathroom. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of embarrassing. Oh, you're not going to talk about that, are you? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I remember that, though, and of course, we grew up on welfare, food stamps. A lot of people do. If they have to, there's no shame in it. Yeah, there's not. We learn firsthand. You don't get to choose. Yeah. But we got through it. And the thing with me, when I look back on my childhood, when we was growing up and everything, I didn't feel poor. I didn't know we was poor. Oh, I knew I was poor, but I didn't feel it. Because I had so much love for my mother. Yeah. And my family, and growing up with my nieces and nephews like cousins. Yeah. We had so many experiences with them that it was about family. Yeah. It wasn't about material things. Yeah. I remember, and you'll remember this too, when we was kids, we'd be sitting in the front room at the old house there in Shelby on Tyler Street, 23521 Tyler Street. Yep. Still remember it. We'd be sitting in the front room, a lot of times more on a Saturday morning, a lot of times, one of the cars would pull in. Oh, great, there's Joanne and Jew and the kids. Oh, great, there's Gracie and Jerry. Bertie and Lonzie. Bertie and Lonzie and the kids. But we grew up with them. And I tell you what, I would give $1 million to have that all over again, But we were poor. We didn't really realize we was poor. We had it good. Mom took care. And most people in the town of Shelby treated us equally as anybody else. They never treated us like we were trash or nothing. Yeah. We didn't have much, right. But I didn't feel it from my peers in Shelby. They never made me feel bad. Right. Never made fun of me, nothing like that. I didn't have the best clothes or nothing. Growing up in a town like that, you just it was almost like a big family. It was. And I remember the Duval boys. Go back to the Duval boys and Mike, our nephew Mike. Dawn Flat. Yeah. Don't forget Dawn. She's still living in her mom and dad's old house there. Yeah, she's down in Charlotte. Done something, I don't know. They passed now, but I remember the Duval boys. They always get the newest GI Joes, and they'd get the newest this and that there, and they got the moped, mini bikes and stuff. Before I did, and I thought, man, the Duval boys, they got it made. Yeah, Dawn had every Barbie doll. Her dad built her Barbie doll house, and I had one. Yeah, but that's okay. I remember, but in this time that Dave and I had, we had a year there that we spent. And just as friends talking, I even went over to his house one day and we had supper over there. He was a good cook, Dave was. But I remember as a kid, I was jealous of the Duval. They got a dad at home that gives them everything they want and anything. But you know what? I didn't find out until years later. They didn't have an easy life. No, that's what I heard. And I don't need to go into details, but they went through some things that was very hard for him. Dave told me about a lot of these things. We talked.
You know, if more people spoke up about their life's experiences, you'd find out a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But here's something I'd like to share as sort of a testimony. I used to think about the bad times. It would come up in my mind, and I had a real rough spot in high school. Mm-hmm. Real rough, to where I felt like I was getting OCD, or was that, what is that, OCD? Obsessive compulsive. Yeah, I was picking that up.
I do have that.
And I sat down and I wrote a letter to God in tears.
Yeah.
And I was spared that. But I look back now for all the things that I didn't have, all the things that I went through, Charlie's mom and sister, all of that. And I think it didn't happen to me. It happened for me.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to look at it.
God's hand never left me. So everything that I went through, I did not go through alone. Mm-hmm. And it built in me a character maybe a lot of people don't know I have.
Yeah. No, I've always known you as a character.
Well, a lot of people look at me because of makeup or whatever I do that offends them.
Yeah.
And they don't really know the real person.
Right.
And I have walked through some valleys, Bob, that I know I walked through for me. Mm-hmm. God walked to, because I'm grateful for who I am today, because I feel like I'm one of God's peacemakers.
Yeah.
I don't start trouble. I try to keep peace, try to make peace. And I'm pretty proud of that. And I know it was God. I give God the glory.
Yeah.
And it was for all the things that I felt I'd missed out on in life. My dad. Mm-hmm. How the wrongness of all of that. But you know what? I got a better place to be one day.
You get a better,
got a better perspective of
when God is in the equation, it makes things, we see things from a whole different perspective. It's like,
you gotta realize you are a square peg in a round hole, and you better be glad you are.
Yeah. Well, I embraced that, I think, years ago. I know I've always talk about I'm the melancholic madman, the crack within the wall. Those are metaphoric things, but sometimes you think, well, I've got a really wacky personality, but you know what? God gave it to you. And
God was the other thing from the Alexanders, was a sense of humor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got that in spades. You and my kids, all three of my kids are funny people.
Well, me and Larry were dueling comedians, Mm-hmm. And I remember Larry coming over one time, and he came over and visited me a number of different times, and he'd always bring his guitar over. And he'd have a keyboard out there.
He'd want me to sing with him, but there were songs I had no clue what they were.
So Larry would, a lot of times he'd start playing a ditty, a song from the 60s. You remember those, Bobby? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Larry. That's a good one, And I remember one time we was going to have a family reunion. He goes, we need to get up there and we'll do some comedy. Bobby goes, I'll be the straight guy. I said,
I'm telling you what, Bob, I'd love to have you and Chris in a room and get her going. You got to get her going.
Oh, yeah.
Once she's on that roll, I'm telling you what, between the two of you, there wouldn't be a dry pair of pants in the house.
Chrissy's.
She's hysterical.
The infamous Myrna Jefferson Malloy. Oh, yes.
Oh, she's funny. They're all funny, but she's really got it. You get her going and she'll crack you.
It's hard to say is that Chrissy was twisted. I tell you.
Oh, she's twisted.
But you know what? Thank God for all the good things He's done in our lives, and we've been through a lot of things. We grew up poor, and we this and that and the other, and we were kind of an awkward pair of kids that that we didn't have a lot of self-esteem when we were kids. I don't think. I know I did.
I always loved Mrs. Johnson. What did you do for your summer vacation? What did you get for Christmas? And all this other stuff. And I would sit down. I got a typewriter. I got a horse. I got. Yeah. She was mean.
Never forget those Christmases, like the one Christmas when I went under the tree in a long thing there. I thought maybe it's the Daisy Red Rider BB gun. I opened it up, it was a stick. I said, "What is this?" Well, it's a gun. We couldn't afford the Johnny 7
Use your imagination.
I'm joking. But a lot of good times there, But I do believe I'm an optimist in believing this, that the best years are still ahead.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
When we meet Jesus face to face.
Yeah. Well, even on this earth, though, even before we get to meet him, I think there's a lot of good things ahead. That of course that's the crowning jewel of it.
Yeah. Well, you better backtrack there, backtrack a little bit there, bud.
Well, you know where I'm going with that, but yeah, I just like when I decided I was going to do this podcast,
Uh-oh.
Well, everything inside of me was screaming, "You can't do this. You're about 70 years old now. You had your time. Your time has passed, and you're too old. And, you can't do it." And I have literally fought those voices, that voice,
Have to.
because you know what? I like what the one lady said. She goes, "I refuse to live a life unlived."
What about what the guy on oh, Bob, help me out. The black guy, everybody loves him. He's in so many movies.
Morgan Freeman?
Him.
Yeah.
He said, "Get busy living or get busy dying." Or was it him that said it, or Tim, the other guy? But he said at the end of the movie, he says, "You're darn right." He says, "You better get busy living or get busy dying. What are you going to do? What's your choice?" I mean, and I've told my family, they look at the clothes I wear, and sometimes they are a little young for me, but I wear them because I like them. And I said, if you want to put spandex on me, you wait until you put me in the home. Yeah. You can put all the granny clothes in the world you want with the big, bold crap that grannies wear on their shirts. When I'm in the home and I can't dress myself, then you can dress me. Until then, I ain't dead yet. Yeah, and that's the thing, God's got a plan. One thing it is, God doesn't have a retirement plan. You don't get a gold watch. Oh, you're 70. All right, here's your gold watch. Go off into the field somewhere, into the pasture, And I think, I think that life is what we make it, no matter what age we are. And I think God wants gratitude is a big deal. So I tell you what, this is my clarion call to the senior citizens out there. Now, this is for y'all, but the senior citizens out there, get out of the shadow, step back out of the shadow. Nobody called you to retire, and God doesn't have a retirement plan. You are good enough. And I think you can be a world changer no matter what. As a matter of fact, I kind of try and recommend a book once in a while. This one here, 13 Men Who Changed the World. It's by H.S. Vitamins, whatever. You might have to spell it. Anyway, yeah, an Italian name, which those Italians, they come up with some names sometimes. No, but he wrote a good book, 13 Men That Changed the World. I highly recommend it. And be a world changer. Let God use you. Don't get the idea that God has a retirement plan, that you're too young, that you're too old, that you're too ugly. I would have had to give it up on that one. Okay, but God has a plan for you, no matter how old you are. And you would agree with that? Totally. Totally. So don't put yourself away in the closet. God still has a purpose. Be you in your life. Be you, but be Christ-like if at all possible. I mean, there's things that people want to be you and it's completely against the will of God. I wouldn't suggest that, but I won't judge you either. Yeah. Well, my thing is, be you, glorify God in doing it as much as you can. Amen. Well, that's our show for today. If you like the show, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Facebook. I'd like you to join in on that. So, and our my website is riverratreverend.com. Look us up. Go down to the bottom. Give me some comments. I want to hear some feedback from you. And if you like the program today, like, share, and subscribe. I want to pick up some more subscribers. I'd like to see a few more likes out there.
But it's been fun, Myrna. I've been enjoyed having.
Our life has been a big laugh. It's even in sad times, our life is a big laugh. There's too many things we can laugh about, Bob.
Yeah. Life is hard, but life is also a belly laugh. You know what I mean?
It is. You can't. Glass has got to be half full.
Absolutely.
I don't always practice what I preach, but I'm preaching it.
Yeah, there you go. I've been trying to do that, but hey, God is good, and we've enjoyed being with you today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having. I'm glad to have you on the show, my sister Myrna, and God bless you all. Until next time.